Morning, everyone. So we're here today to talk about INCOSE's professional development portal, which is currently being developed. Can you hear it? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Sorry. Okay, we're here to talk about the professional development portal, which is currently being designed and developed. Designed and built. The portal will lead users across the SE community to INCOSE's rich set of systems engineering content, as well as its ecosystem of training professionals, universities, and other SE experts. So, this is not the chart I expected, but this ecosystem will consist of a variety of providers and consumers of systems engineering content and a variety of features to enhance our professional development at several stages of our careers. Today, our team is focusing on the user experience around our content distribution and the search and deliver feature. So I want to note that those aren't the only features. We'll have several others that are going to be revealed later, but just please focus on those now. So here to speak in more detail on this are Clu Williams on my right and Horacio Nunez. Clu, you guys may remember, is a past winner of the best student paper, and she's currently working as a user experience professional for a software development company in Denver. Horacio is CEO of a software development company in the San Francisco Bay Area, and he's helping us with the software development. So please note that we'll be available for questions directly after this session in this room, and of course the charts will be available later. So with that, I'll turn it over to Clu Williams to talk about the user experience.
All right, I'll run it back to the start.
Yeah.
Great, I'm also not so tall. Can you hear me? Great, okay. So like Marilyn said, my name is Clu Williams, and I'm a user experience designer. And so what I'm going to start talking about is the user experience and how we went through that process, what we've selected, and a sample workflow for what this portal could be. And then Horacio is going to show you a working prototype afterwards. So I want to start with the question, why a content portal? So when we're starting this, when we want to create something, we have to start really small and think about a minimum viable product, or MVP, right? A lot of folks are familiar with that concept. What we need to do, I described it, I think, yesterday as the smallest possible thing you can release without it being useless or embarrassing, which is a cheeky reduction, but it really is whatever the smallest thing is that adds a considerable amount of value and, really importantly, allows us to learn from it when it's out in the wild and it has usership. And so that's the perspective we're taking with this. And to that end, we've selected a minimum viable product that puts INCOSE's content first. So INCOSE is sitting on a lot of really valuable data, presentations, papers, videos, pieces of software that otherwise don't really get exposed, either to the individuals in this room, INCOSE members and practitioners, or people outside of INCOSE. So how can we accomplish a few key goals with a really light MVP and continue to learn from that process? And hopefully what I'm going to show you is part of that answer. So when I'm going through this, know that what I'm showing you is a prototype. Horacio is going to show you something that's working. Really what you're seeing as I talk are pictures that I drew. But they're going to describe an ideal or key workflow for a certain type of user or a set of type of users and for a certain type of user experience. So that's where I'm actually going to start right now. Whenever I start to design a piece of software, I design to experience goals, and experience goals are emotions. So experience goals are the things we want the user who's engaged with the software, in this case a portal that distributes content as an MVP, what emotions do we want those individuals to feel? So part of the reason we selected the idea of exposing INCOSE content as the first step of this project, however it may grow, is because it's the type of interaction that's really compelling to people who know what they're looking for, people who don't know what they're looking for, and that can produce these sorts of experiences. So what we want people to feel is confidence. We want people to come into this portal and think, this data is really, really good, it's useful, I trust it, I trust INCOSE, right? And we want a feeling of instant gratification. We're talking about bringing people in who are in graduate studies right now for the next generation of INCOSE, or people who are outside of systems engineering proper, or at least they think they are, though they may not really be. And they're used to interacting with something like YouTube, where they search a term and they get 1 million hits immediately on things that may be relevant. So that's the sort of interaction mode that we're competing with when we distribute content. So it has to have instant gratification. I put inspiration up here. This is sort of like a pie in the sky kind of a thing, but what we want people to really think to themselves when they engage with the content is, wow, what I do is systems engineering, or systems engineering can inform what I do, or maybe this is a great course of study, or maybe I can share this with my mentees, this sort of a thing, right? We want a feeling of connectedness. As the portal becomes more than just a way to engage with content, this goal can grow and the feeling of connectedness can grow. But what users can still connect to is the material that we're putting out there. And if we make it easy for them to get the data, the content, the video or the paper or the piece of software, they're going to feel really connected to that material and by extension to INCOSE. And that also goes with this goal of being interested in the community, thinking to yourself once you've watched this video, oh wow, there's stuff in INCOSE that I really want to learn more about. I wonder if they're having an event. I wonder if I can connect. Who do I tweet at, right? Who do I email? So those are sorts of the emotions that we want users to experience when they're engaging with the portal. And when I say users, who am I talking about? So who are we thinking about as being the user of the portal? And there's a few personas or templates for a type of person that we're considering. A person using the portal could be like somebody sitting in this room, an INCOSE expert or a practitioner who has mentees or students that he wants to share information with. It could be a professor or industry professional outside of what she thinks would be systems engineering, maybe graduate education curriculum development or biotechnology or game design, that she could actually really engage with the INCOSE community and with the content on the portal and be drawn into INCOSE or be drawn back into INCOSE. We heard some people yesterday who had come back happily after years away, and that's the sort of interaction we want to foster. You know, it could be a graduate student thinking, oh, I'm about to go, into a professional world. Where do I start? What am I looking for? Who are the types of professionals I can hook up with to learn more and to find opportunities? So these are the sorts of people we're interested in reaching out to through the portal, making those individuals feel the emotions I was mentioning through their experience. So now I'm going to take you through a happy path. A happy path is a workflow in an MVP. And it's a workflow we select. Sometimes it's called a core loop. It's a workflow that is a set of interactions that we feel describes what we want out of the MVP and what we want our users to feel. So it's a workflow that's hopefully going to capture those experience goals. This is how the portal might be used. So you land on the main page of the portal. It would look something like this. And you see some featured content and you see some other features, but really you know what you're looking for. You're looking for a presentation by Trisha Kosmicki, and you're going to search her name in that very top call to action search box, right? Something like appears on Medium or YouTube or eBay, the search. And you're going to type in Kosmicki and hit enter. And what you get are results. You also get some parameters, some filters. This is a pattern that's also very familiar to hopefully everyone in the room if you used Amazon or if you searched on a news website, and some recommended content. But what we're really interested in is this core column here, the search results returned. But we have like 100 or more search results on Kosmicki. Turns out Kosmicki is a really common last name. It's not, I made it up. But Frank Kosmicki is also very prolific. And Trisha has like 16 things out here, and she's mentioned in a lot of papers. So we're going to have to narrow our search. We engage with the parameters on the left-hand side, the filters, and we're going to execute what's called a parametric search, which is just a filtered search. Say we know a date range, and we know the topic of what we're interested in finding. Say it's a graduate education. So we type in those filters, and immediately your search is updated to show only 2 results. And that very top result is what we're looking for. You can see the results are designed like components, like cards. Cards are very compelling. Even if a piece of content doesn't have necessarily a lot of visual elements, we still want to lead with a visual element, catches the eye. It's a very friendly way to browse in terms of interaction design. And it creates this billboarding effect as a component. that's going to make the search and filter a lot more easy, a lot less what we call cognitive load, right? So I'm going to click on that billboarded image of Trisha giving this presentation, and I'm going to be taken to that content page. And this video, in this case, but it could be anything. It could be an embedded PDF or a slideshow presentation or a downloadable, whatever this content is, it's going to be available to me immediately. If it's a video, for instance, it might autoplay. So now I'm watching the presentation, and I've really had to go through basically 3 clicks to get this piece of information that I'm viewing. And I watch it, and I see what date it was published and who did it, Trisha, and I think to myself, I've met some people, I think this would be really cool to share with them. So I'm going to tweet this content, which is made really easy in this design with share buttons on the lower right-hand side. So I'll hit the tweet button, and I get a modal, that's a pop-up. And the pop-up prompts me to tweet this material. It's going to grab the photo, it's going to grab the URL. Maybe it takes those tags that were on the content and makes them hashtags. Maybe it automatically mentions Trisha if she has a profile on the site. Maybe it automatically mentions INCOSE. But it's customizable also because you always want that little touch. The more effort somebody puts into sharing something, and it's balanced, obviously you don't want to make it super, super difficult, the more customized they feel that is, the more they feel it represents themselves. So we're going to share this content to Twitter, and this is what the tweet might look like. So we've added some custom message, we've got our hashtags and mentions, or whatever the analog is in whatever you're sharing. It could be on LinkedIn, it could be on Facebook. And my network can view the data that I just went through and searched for simply by clicking this, right? I'm interested in this. You know, this is a mock-up, so this tweet is pre-populated. But I'm interested in this pre-populated tweet, and I click on it, and now I'm also immediately viewing the content. And not only am I immediately viewing the content, I'm also viewing recommended results. I'm also viewing other things, maybe by Trisha, or other things with these tags. And I'm consuming it, and I could share a like. So that loop from searching, refining a search, consuming media, and sharing media is the happy path of this portal. And the idea of it is to get usership and buy-in, right? One of the things we're thinking about is growth and recruitment, as well as maintaining INCOSE's reputation as the premier source of SE information, and maintaining that quality. So with this happy path, we can get a lot of usership both within INCOSE and outside of INCOSE, so that as we grow the project and add features, we've learned from what we've done, we've got a lot of visibility, we've got a lot of usership, people know about the portal. So to get everyone excited about the possibilities of that before Horacio takes it into his real working prototype, you know, right now we might just be thinking about, we're sharing a certain kind of data, we can search, we can tag content, and we can share, and there's a notion of aligning this, we can talk more about this in Q&A, aligning this with the competency framework or having the tags be based on the competency framework, so that's really clear. But it could be a lot of things in the future, right? Our first atomic step, our like V0.1, is the content part of it. But it can grow in a lot of ways. We can talk about membership arbitrated content, you must sign in. Paid content, you must pay an amount. User-generated content even, right? What if somebody has some material they want to upload onto the site? There's a curatorial aspect to that, but it's a real potential for growth of the platform. The idea that I could bookmark content, save it for later, or create libraries from it, and then share my libraries. For a class I'm teaching, you need to read these 5 articles when you take my class, or for young professionals in my organization, check out these 3 videos before we have this meeting, right? Something like that really gets the share function out of necessarily social media and into professional academic settings. There's a notion of connecting through a portal to mentors or mentees, and having some kind of a blog or news function. This can grow in a lot of different ways. And of course, we're an international community, so thinking about localization in the future. So that is a really high level and very quick, I know that wasn't so much time, I apologize, view of the happy path of an MVP and why we're thinking about the first step as really being content focused before we grow into other areas. Horacio is going to go through a working prototype on the web of the work that he's put together so far, partially based on this design.
Okay, hi. So I just left this quote here because I think it's like is very spot on what we're trying to do. So the feature that I'm going to be demo fits into the content discovery piece of the MVP. If you think of INCOSE, INCOSE is a big collection of content about systems engineering. There is a lot that is within the INCOSE website, but there is also a lot outside. Like if you go to YouTube and search for INCOSE, you're going to see like previous records of these conversations there. So with that in mind, let me show you the actual demo. Okay. So this is a public website right now. After we are done, please come with like your business card or something, and we'll send you an invite there. So if you look at this, you see like a basic search here. But let's do something before searching there. Let's do something here. So using like terms for the systems engineering framework, if we talk about content discovery as a system, it's something that basically make it easy for you to find stuff. And this is very different from how you are going to consume these results. So instead of like going and typing there, let's just follow this link here. So if you see here, I didn't have to actually like type, I just follow like a link there. So this is me proving that we could like add stuff to the idea of a search just to make it easy and more engaging. So this is basically a system waiting to be combined with other stuff. So now, if you look at these responses here, you're probably going to recognize a YouTube video. Like you could preview stuff here, just works. And if you click, you can like, it's going to open in a new tab. And this is coming from the INCOSE website. Like we didn't add this video by hand. It was basically indexed. So what you are seeing right now is a basic product system that is showing a search cluster. INCOSE has a current search feature right now that only indexes stuff within the CMS of INCOSE. What we're putting together is a way to index infinite numbers of resources, adding like data to describe it better and then expose it as quick, as effective as possible. So let me show you why this video appears here at the top. So let me review here the scores. And let me show you the taxonomy. So usually when you search on Google, right, Google has a basic search like based on text and links, but they also have like a tagging. Usually you don't see those tags. I'm showing you here why this video is like so high. So if you look at here, this is like a tag from the competency framework. So basically, when the search engine sees this query, it's going to look, and the way we put it for this demo is that the competency framework tags has a very high priority there. It also have critical thinking, business and enterprise integration there, and then you can compare the other scores there. But we don't only have like videos and stuff, we also have like events. So if you were like me, you try to find about the tolerance event in the INCOSE.org. The search, the results was not exactly the event. It was pages that contain that text. So when you go here and you type a tolerance, you are going to see two results: this event here and the event next year. Because we have like a custom way to index here, we could say like, okay, we know this is going to be an event, so add like more data to that. So you can see that it has another tag here that is like event, and because it's an event, we can just like make it very easy to register. Let's do an example of parametric search. So if I type leadership, so I see that there's like a lot of videos there, but let's see that I only want to look for like actually like papers. So I can type here journal, I can select this. You see how the set results change. It's only showing this. And like with any other stuff, you can see that there's like a competency tag there. And if we click and we follow this link, we basically have, it's actually showing a paywall here because this is like a resource that is part of the INCOSE membership. So this is another stuff of having the search outside of the main INCOSE website. We can index stuff that is within INCOSE and outside, and we basically reuse all the paywall and stuff that is there. So one final thought, the idea of having this search cluster is making like a system or an infrastructure that is going to work today and in the years to come. So let's say that we want to add like new content, right? It may be that the best way to put this content is going to be in a new online system for like online classes, right? That system is very likely to have an API, so that means that it would be very easy to listen to this API, connect, and then put this on the search cluster. So it's like we have a central place to offer a great experience for browsing, and also to index stuff without being too worried about what is going to change in the future. And that's it. So I guess we go to the QA session. Any questions?